earlier, all of us were saying, because I think Joe was arguing that there must be some definition of woman, whether we're talking gender or sex. I think earlier you guys were talking sex, but I guess we can say sex or gender, right? For either of these. It seemed like Joe was arguing that there was some underlying definition that people seemed to understand internally, but then it felt like Demon Mama, your argument was like, well, no, literally anybody could call themselves any gender they want and it would be okay. It should be a descriptor like a name. That was the comparison.
Yeah.
But now it sounds like you're saying, well, there is some underlying fact of the matter related to gender.
For gender, I don't believe that sex and gender. I think that in our society right now, we erroneously ascribe gender as something that like grows out of sex. I don't think that's the case, actually.
Okay, if that's not the case, then how do we deal with the kids?
Okay.
I know. How do we deal with the kids that get the surgery and are intersex to somebody else and then end up killing themselves?
Wait, that's a sex thing. Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. We really need to split this line right here, okay? Sex is real. It is, to an extent, arbitrary. It is not binary. There's a bimodal component.
You just said it like 3 times. We understand. Go. Okay.
Okay, so yeah.
How can sex be real but also arbitrary?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Does that make any sense?
I was thinking the
Do you understand
same thing.
the distinction there?
Yeah.
Just to hammer it in, because it keeps coming up again, gender, that's a lot more complicated. I think that gender is broadly just another social category that allows us to express who we are. Most people are okay with the category that's...
It's really weird. So he just said gender is a social category, right? I'm not hallucinating. That's what he said, right?
Yeah.
Because later in this conversation, when Destiny leaves, he seems to say the exact opposite.
Oh, really? Wow.
This in mind. Okay. Very confused.
I'm so glad Sitch is on my side. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I've been like contradicting myself 3 times a day.
That's true. You know, Adam calls me up randomly the other day. He's like Sitch, I want to do this. Am I contradicting myself?
Please, I don't want to contradict myself.
And I go, okay, hold on, Adam. I bring out the big binder of Adam's behaviors and I flip through the pages. And I'm like, well, actually, at 3 p.m. Last Tuesday, you actually said the opposite. So no, you'd be contradicting yourself.
Oh my God. This is consistency bias, which is another huge problem. People are so afraid to contradict themselves that they actually do engage in the wrong behavior because they have been engaging in an incorrect strategy. And the only thing you can do is contradict yourself to get back on the right track. And, all of these people would have to contradict themselves. What's that? 12-year-olds voting? Fuck you. What?
No. What? You're so defensive now.
I know.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh yeah, perfect example. Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yes. Everyone would have to contradict themselves. Yep. They're not going to do it. They're so worried about being consistent, and they trace that back to evolution too.
Of course.
Yeah. You want to be a good teammate, obviously. Otherwise,
and also your brain is basically wants to always find consistent patterns. That's how you perceive the world, is by understanding consistent patterns. So it makes people uncomfortable to be inconsistent to some extent.
Not me. I don't give a fuck, to be honest with you.
Well, you have to learn to push past it, push through it.
They don't. I've argued with the presuppositionalist Christians, and their whole argument is to get you to admit that your worldview is incoherent. It's because it's inconsistent.
This is the Darth Dawkins argument,
Darth
which
Dawkins,
is so
exactly.
mind-numbingly stupid.
It is completely stupid. Yeah. Yes.
This is my question. This is my question.
Okay.
I want to hear an answer to this. Wait, I need to hear an answer.
I'm sure Jack will have an answer.
Okay, then for Jack, I'll shut up for the rest of the panel. Because we keep dancing around this so much, and people want to hop to every definition to avoid answering this question. Okay?
So performatively angry.
If you were to take somebody, please don't call me performative. Okay, everything is performative.
I just want to hear the question.
Okay, hold on.
Oh man, that's so good.
Wow,
so
that's
good.
pretty transphobic, Destiny.
I know.
You just said a trans woman's entire performance is performative. Oh.
No, he was safe though. He said everything is a performance.
I know.
I'm gonna have to start muting people.
Everything is
Don't worry, I'm gonna start muting people. Don't worry, I'm gonna mute people.
My understanding is that if you were to take a kid at birth, okay, and you were to just arrest them to another sex, okay? And they were to grow up, that gender, that's not just a performative thing. That's not just a social thing. That there is some internal content there related to gender, and that person will grow up with dysphoria and kill themselves. It wasn't just a matter of having the right sex parts or whatever, but there's like some deeper gender content there.
Go ahead.
So I think
if there wasn't
no.
So the idea is that there is a correlation there, but it doesn't necessarily have to happen all the time, because there are botched circumcisions. Okay, there are things that happen. There are intersex people.
There's a correlation there, but it doesn't have to happen all the time.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go again.
Useless. Yeah. What a uselessly vague sentence.
Well, they're making the same argument. The outliers destroy the category argument.
I know.
People who exist, who grow up and they're perfectly fine. They never know. Or you can take a look at like how people are born with like.
Wait, is she saying that the John Money, that there were more successful John Moneys? And
no, she's saying that there are people who are outliers, who have intersex conditions, but don't realize it their entire life because it doesn't manifest in any way that they experience.
In any noticeable way that they would ever know.
Right. So therefore, the category is thrown in the trash can.
I mean, it is uncommon, but there are women that have XY chromosomes, but present and fully functional women and don't realize it. Well, they might be sterile. I'm not sure.
Some aren't, some aren't. There's certain.
Okay.
Like 5 or 6 different intersex conditions that all have different things associated with them.
I guess if you were a woman with an XY and a man, the man gives you the X. The only infertility would be if it ended up being a YY chromosome. Obviously, that would be.
No, it's more. It's a lot more. No, it doesn't work that way. But
okay. Well, if they, interesting.
Chimerism, and you grow up to be like an 80-year-old grandpa and you go in for stomach cramps to the hospital, and it turns out you had ovaries the entire time. You didn't know. So there are these ideas, but when you get down to it, we don't know what makes people trans, and we don't know what makes people react the way they do, because it's a complicated topic.
It's complicated.
The ultimate.
It's complicated. Look, it's the gender of the gaps argument. We just don't know. We don't know, so let's just assume it's all social construct. And then we could just throw away these categories in the trash can because we just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there is. I feel like trans people know, and they're just keeping it a secret. I feel like they all know. They all know. They look at each other. They're like, ha, we know the real reason. Ha, none of them know because none of us are talking.
There you go, Adam. We've heard about the global homo conspiracy, but now we have the trans.
Oh, yeah.
The global trans conspiracy.
They all want to keep it a secret from us. Right. Look at this. They're teasing us. They could all just come clean. They could all tell us right here. Right here. They got 2 hours left on this.
What are you hiding? What are you hiding?
Yeah, they could come on. What do we have to do? Let's organize a GoFundMe. Let's bribe one of them to tell us their secret.
There you go.
Please, we want to know. We're so curious.
There you go,
guys. Our curiosity is
Adam
killing us.
Adam is very trans curious. Any trans people that know the secrets, any trans people that are willing to share,
I'll do anything.
Your global control secrets, please. Adam is willing to do anything.
I'll do anything.
Just
within reason.
And share the global trans conspiracy.
Within reason. Within reason. Anything affordable. Okay.
There you go.
And it's kind of trying to get at when I talked to you earlier and was just like, the more you know about somebody, the more complicated it gets. And
if gender doesn't map onto sex, why is it that why wouldn't we advocate then at this point for literally just like mental transition for trans people? Like, just think about your gender differently.
Because that doesn't work for all trans people. But
why not? That's my question is why not?
Some trans
because
people
physiological...
have like
issues with their bodies that they need to change, and we know that has we know that has better medical outcomes. Like even if you want to throw,
but why?
What are I don't understand. I don't know about that. I don't know the medical outcomes. They always want to talk about the medical outcomes, and I'm not really researched enough to know the medical outcomes. Have you studied any of that stuff? You probably have because you made a video on this.
Right. Well, the current medical, well, there's some contention here, but the current medical thought is that yes, people who actually have gender dysphoria
have better outcomes.
However, there was one famous study, if I recall correctly, that I'm trying to remember where it was. I don't think it was in America. I think it was in Europe. That they tracked people who had transitioned over like 30 or 40 years, and they determined that the majority of them actually didn't feel like they had better feelings about themselves psychologically after they transitioned.
Wow.
And that's a
long study, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, and that's the one that people, I don't remember what the name of it. That's the one people usually point to in terms of saying that transitioning doesn't work. I don't know if that study has been replicated anywhere else or repeated with similar results or not.
Was there a lot of people in the study?
I don't remember, honestly. I don't remember. It's been a while since I looked into any of this stuff.
Wow.
If you want to throw, I know not all trans people have dysphoria. I was getting to that.
I'm not saying that. Like, look, to get to them, so they don't have body dysphoria, right? Like that's not an issue. So they
sexual
just
dysphoria.
encourage them to think about their gender differently, and then surely it would go away if it was completely fucking like socially constructed.
So in order to square this circle, people are making up all sorts of terms. Body dysphoria, that's not a thing. Sexual dysphoria, that's not a thing.
Yeah, why are they trying to square the circle?
Because they want to create this distinction.
Right.
They can't answer the question that Destiny's posing, which is what I posed repeatedly in my YouTube videos many years ago, back when I still made videos, which is how can people be born with gender dysphoria if gender is a social construct? So they want to create this fake, or not fake, but this made up distinction that, well, there's actually gender dysphoria, which only is about social. There's sexual dysphoria or sexual dysmorphia or whatever, and that relates to the biological sex characteristics. That's not real. There's nothing in the DSM that says sexual dysphoria. That's not a real thing. That's made up. Totally made up just for this conversation.
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Made up on the fly.
Right.
Obviously, there's some kind of inherent fucking that is informing the way that they think about their gender within society, like regardless of any kind of like body thing going on at all.
So the issue being,
and to be even more clear, if tomorrow or next year the DSM-6 comes out, okay, and they create a distinction between gender dysphoria and sex dysphoria, I can almost guarantee you that for the people that have just gender dysphoria, they will not advocate taking hormones or surgery or any of that other stuff. Because why would you if it's just your gender?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Being that for some trans people, you can't be taught to think differently about your body. That's literally part of. Look, Destiny. It's literally in the example you gave of somebody who's raised after a botched circumcision and like got like an SRS surgery, whatever. Never knew that they were trans. That person was completely taught to think about their gender in a certain way. It still made them miserable.
Yeah,
so
then why?
Wait,
that's like we don't know. We're not scientists.
But the question seems to wait. Please.
I know, it's hilarious. It's totally hilarious.
Wait, we're having this whole conversation about, gender, transgender issues, and all that stuff, and then the answer is, well, I don't know because I'm not a scientist.
But it's worse than that, because she's implying not only we don't know, but we could never possibly know, seems to be the implication, which it's like, No, we're curious. We're curious little bitches here. We want to know shit. Curiosity.
Well, I mean, and if you're gonna make all these prescriptive
declarations, yeah,
claims, you got to know the information, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, come on.
Why even have the conversation if the whole answer is we don't know, we can never know? Let's.
Right.
It's a big nothing burger. I thought we were having this conversation to learn something.
No, we were having this conversation to have the, the gender of the gaps argument.